Hey everyone, Eric Power here. Now some of you know I'm an animator, which means of course I'm a huge fan of animation. So I decided this time I'd like to take a look back at some of the most influential films that I've seen, which actually kind of made me become the animator I am. So this is my top 10 best animated feature films.
Number 10. The Iron Giant. Now, this is a fantastic film. I love the art design throughout the whole thing. It has that perfect aesthetic to really sell the 50s era story. I am also very impressed with the design of the robot. When I first saw the transformation scenes, I was completely blown away. This is cool stuff, and unfortunately, a bit underappreciated, so if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Number 9. Of all the classic Disney films, Pinocchio is one of my favorites. I love the humor throughout it and the characters, and this is some pretty disturbing stuff. Anyways, the scenes that really got me were the climax with the whale. This is some stellar animation and a fantastic end to a great film. Now, even if Pinocchio's all friendly and good-natured, I still will never trust a puppet. Number 8. Next up is my favorite Don Bluth film, The Secret of NIMH. Straight off the bat, we are introduced to some very serious subject matter.
Jonathan was a dear friend.
I love the dark atmosphere of this film. I think it was made specifically to give us all nightmares later in life.
I love how a lot of these older animated films didn't try to sugarcoat their subject matter at all, which I think is one of the reasons why they're so successful and why we actually remember them even more today. I kind of think about, like, reading Dr. Seuss books. That's pretty terrifying stuff, but maybe that's the reason why these lasted so long.
Number 7. Fantasia ranks on my list because of the inspiration I've taken from it. This film is, in my opinion, the best animated music video ever made. Yeah, it's not a music video per se, but basically it kind of is. It's one long epic badass music video. I remember how light the film was, and then suddenly switching over into something very twisted. Of course, the most memorable moments were the Sorcerer's Apprentice with Mickey Mouse. I couldn't have a top 10 without somehow including this iconic figure of animation. So cool. Number 6. A Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my all-time favorite films. We basically get the best from Tim Burton and the best from Henry Selick. Now, I love The Corpse Bride and I love Coraline, but when Selick gets to direct and animate while teamed up with Burton, the result is perfect. Danny Elfman's score and the many highly singable songs seal the deal. I've got this one completely memorized.
And I, the Pumpkin King.
Number 5. Akira was one of those films that had me watching it in slow motion to really take in the artistry on display. To put it simply, this film kicks ass. Those kids are very creepy though. Don't go into this thinking you're gonna get a regular cartoon.
Akira!
This part right here always freaks me out.
My body's not doing what I tell it to. My power's acting on self-scouting.
I've got to say, the one thing that kind of bugs me about my version of Akira is that I've got this one, and it says it's the new Japanese version. Because I like to watch the films with their original language, but for some reason I cannot get the Japanese track to work. It's just silent. I guess I'm supposed to have some DTS system or something like that. It's pretty frustrating.
Number 4. Following up Akira is a film I simply couldn't ignore, Ghost in the Shell. This film and Akira are a big reason I became an animator. They proved to me that cartoons can successfully engage an older audience and be taken seriously. I love the quiet moments in this film, such as the chase of the criminal after the garbage scene, which all leads up to a quiet and amazing fight sequence in the water.
Aw, out of ammo. Huh?
Now it's true, sometimes the animation does cut a few corners, such as the elevator scene, and occasionally where they're talking. Yeah, it's true they cut a few corners here and there, but there is also some very stellar animation here. Plus, the story is absolutely fantastic. Number 3. Who could forget Wallace and Gromit? This is a prime example of why animation is so successful. This is a film that appeals to both grown-ups and young kids alike. I fell in love with the characters in their numerous shorts, and to be able to see them on the big screen was amazing. I love the cheerful mood and clever humor, and the animation is stunning. What really attracts me to this style is you can really see the animator at work. The way the clay moves, you can imagine the hands of the artist giving them life. It adds a warmth to the film in my opinion.
I'm just crackers about cheese.
Number 2.
My favorite deputy.
The number 2 spot goes to Toy Story from Pixar. I had a pretty hard time choosing between their films, but decided to go ahead and go with the first one because it was the most influential. It really changed the world of animation. Now, I'll go on record saying that I prefer traditional animation to the 3D stuff, but when Pixar's doing it, it's a different story. Toy Story is a near flawless film. Every scene was there for a specific reason. I absolutely love this one.
Hey, Buzz! You're flying!
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
Number 1. The number 1 spot goes to Hayao Miyazaki's Spirited Away. Like Pixar, it is near impossible to say that one Miyazaki film is better than the other. This spot really goes to all his films in a way, since my favorite Miyazaki film is usually dependent on the mood I am in. I love all his work, from Totoro, Meet the Yamadas, to Howl's Moving Castle. The animation is always charming and impressive, the music is usually a highlight, but the number 1 reason they work is because he knows how to tell this really good story. Spirited Away is my current favorite. The entire film has a very strange atmosphere to it that I find very appealing. It is deliberately paced, slowly introducing us into a surprising world. I love how all his characters have redeeming factors and true personality. If you're unfamiliar with Miyazaki's work, I insist that you go and check some of it out.
So that is my top 10 best animated films. But I hope the list will change in the years to come as we continue to get more and more animation. So with that being said, go watch some cartoons.